Oh, I do love to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do love to be in Sharkies. Taking shots with my pals, losing at pool to everyone beside the seaside, beside the sea.
Lovely. That's a beautiful way to start. That could be the highlight of the pod as we break down some transfer dealings, some rumours, and apparently winning trophies means fuck all if you're Daniel Levy. Play that intro.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Boo Podcast, episode 32 of season 4. My name is Fennan, and joining alongside me tonight, I have two wonderful gentlemen. Starting off, I do have the man who I hope has fully recovered just about from a very long but a rather enjoyable weekend down by the coast of Bournemouth. Mayhem, how are you doing, mate?
Good, mate. Had a few. Didn't need any injections.
Did you get your voice back by any chance?
I got it back. That was raining. That was depleting on me. Yeah, I didn't need any injections to make the match tonight. Back to full fitness. Physio's cleared me.
Good stuff, good stuff. No, good to hear, man. Honestly, like, I'd do anything right now just to be on that pier, 2-for-1 cocktails in front of me in the beaming sunshine.
You're a fiend, mate. I'd do anything not to see another cocktail for about a month.
Based on your first night, yeah, I don't blame you. Gondor, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
All good, all good. Yeah, the weather hasn't quite matched up to what it was down down by the coast of Bournemouth. It was wonderful down there. It was beautiful.
Oh
It's just
no,
a Hessian rain here for the last week.
the weather here was quite nice while you were gone, but it's turned sour since you've returned.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting for a follow-up comment there.
Just being honest with that one.
Just being honest. Well, despite the football season's over, of course we've got like the boring side of stuff. We do have the qualifying campaign for the World Cup, which we can very swiftly brush over. But most of all, we've had some European Cup finals take place over the past fortnight, which we have not covered yet.
Nope.
And of course, we saw PSG with a record-breaking 5-0 win against Inter in the Champions League final, which we watched the first half of it and just shoot it off. Like, it was like, what's the point?
It was done, wasn't it, pretty quickly?
Yeah, it feels like Inter were down by Harry Ramsden's where we were, to be honest. Like, they were just, none of them showed up at all.
I think Inzaghi's been sacked, hasn't he, or he's left?
Inzaghi's left. He's signed a multi-million euro contract in Saudi. I think he's earning about 25 million euros a year.
Solid.
With I don't know if it's Al Hilal. It's one of the Al clubs, Just call me Al, But I think the biggest talking point with these European finals, of course, we did have Chelsea who beat Real Betis by 4-1. But Ange getting one over Man United to earn Tottenham their first trophy in 17 years. And it wasn't enough to keep them in the job. And we did say this on the last episode. It wasn't going to be enough.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back at it, I think it's just very sentimental to say, like, oh, he's won us our first piece of silverware in this amount of time. But overall, the results were not good enough domestically. I think if it wasn't for the bottom three, like we spoke about how the gap has really defined the rest of the Premier League, they would have been in the relegation battle otherwise, so to speak.
It boils down to what your football club is. If Tottenham were Man City and are a title winning side that were going close in the Premier League every single season, and they've had this fall off, I understand that argument, but they're not. They're a club that celebrates fourth.
Yeah.
As much as I have a soft spot for them, they're a club that celebrates fourth. They're a club that celebrates Champions League qualification. They've done that. and he's won them their first trophy in 17 years, their first European trophy in 40 years. He's done exactly what he said he was going to do. And I mean, again, if you then told me, right, they've got Pep Guardiola lined up to come in, all right, maybe Jurgen Klopp's coming off the touchline to manage. It's not, it's Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
So fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's over. Look, no disrespect to the guy. He may go in there and tear up, and they may be fantastic, but he's overachieved with Brentford. He's kept a team in the Premier League, and everyone's singing and dancing, and he's done all this. This is a completely different challenge. He now knows that he has to finish inside the top 5 or he gets sacked. That would be the highest he's ever finished.
Yeah.
So it'll be a personal best for him if he achieves it. What's he won? I don't know his history, but what's he won apart from the hearts of fucking Brentford?
It screams Graham Potter, how well he did at Brighton and then got that move to Chelsea and then was given the boot within a number of months.
Yeah, look, Thomas Frank, I'm sure he'll walk in and he'll be in a little bit of awe of the stature of the size of the club he's taken on, the facilities that he's going to be going in there to deal with. But ultimately, he is replacing a man that is their most successful manager in arguably 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, there's very few Tottenham fans, right? Maybe the sentiment will wear off, but there's very few Tottenham fans right now that wouldn't have been happy to ride the Ange Postecoglou wave for another 2 months. Let's not forget that when he first come down, it was revolutionary. Right, they were top of the league after 10 games. Yes, they fell away. All right, fair enough. Right, but it wasn't all bad. I think he's like 6th in their all-time win percentage as their manager, Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
So you're entering into someone that's in their top 10 win percentage, someone that's broken the duck, right, and got that monkey off their back, that Spursy monkey that everyone revolves around. They don't win, they don't win, they don't win. And you've got rid of a winner, right, factually a winner, right? First season he finished 5th, which is pretty much Tottenham's merit. That's where they want to be. So he's achieved it first season. Just other teams in Europe did absolutely bollocks. Otherwise he would have a Champions League first season, as other clubs have benefited from this season in the English Premier League. And then second season, it's fallen apart. You know, we've heard the excuses, injuries, or what else. He's prioritised Europa League, maybe, who knows. But ultimately, he's won a trophy, and Daniel Levy has replaced him with a guy that's won fuck all.
Yeah.
And realistically, I mean, I would say most Spurs fans would be happy that they're still in the Prem and they have walked away with a trophy than finishing 5th, 6th with nothing to show for it.
If you speak to most Spurs fans, right, the fact that they have won a trophy, now this may change because they've won a trophy, but the fact that they have won a trophy and he was the man to deliver it to them, and it wasn't a League Cup, no disrespect to Juande Ramos's efforts back in the day, but it wasn't a fucking League Cup, right? It was a major European trophy. It wasn't the European Grandma biscuit tin that fucking Chelsea rolled Betis over for. Yes, it wasn't the big cup, right? But it's a major European trophy. They've now won it 3 times in their history. You know, the whole ramificated. People were trying to talk down the competition, but there's plenty of clubs that would swap their right arm to be in that position. There's plenty of clubs that, with great prestige, that have won that competition, and they enter into that again. And apparently, if you're Daniel Levy, and you know, God knows how many millions it is between 17th and 5th, but that is what makes it's the making of his football club. You know, they're parading through North London. How many parades has Daniel Levy overseen? Did they parade for the League Cup? Who fucking knows? So maybe he's pissed off of that. Maybe he's pissed off of that. They had to ship out more money for a parade, and he thinks, "Fuck yes, I don't want this every season. Get me Thomas Frank in here."
And Ange did come out and say, like, if he thought the second season was good, the third season will be better.
Look at ultimately. Do I think Ange Postecoglou could have done better? League-wise, yes. Could he have topped this season? Probably not. I can't see Spurs going deep in the Champions League. And, you know, the Premier League is growing stronger and stronger. They would have had to have gone out and made serious investment and I'm not overly sure that Daniel Levy would have made that serious investment in order to bring them up to be in a position where they could go deep in the Champions League. It'll be a great time for them, I'm sure. They'll have some glamour ties, and Thomas Frank, I'm sure, will be pragmatic in how he sets them up, and I'm no doubt that in 18 months, Tottenham fans will be whining about the type of football that Thomas Frank is playing.
I think that there's one thing that the Brentford fans really applaud Thomas Frank for is how tactically flexible he is, and it almost feels like it's like the bipolar opposite in terms of when we talk about Ange, how he's always been stubborn.
You have to be tactically flexible when you're battling to keep Brentford in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, being tactically flexible isn't always a great thing. Our mate's a City fan, and he is moaning about how much Pep messes with the tactics game in, game out, because it has nothing keeping them going.
Look, it's horses for courses. Every United, you look at United and everyone says, Almiron should have changed in order to get a more respectable league position. He stayed stubborn. Didn't win the Europa League, keeps his job. Go figure. He must have a big release clause in his contract.
I imagine he does, yeah.
Ange Postecoglou, we're talking about him not being flexible. He played differently in Europe. Now, that's maybe to his detriment that he didn't deliver that in the Premier League. But Tottenham were different away at Frankfurt. They were different in the final. They played differently and won that trophy. The league, it was shit. But let's not pretend that Tottenham they've never finished that low for a long time. But let's not pretend that they're title contenders. I mean, when Leicester were winning league titles, all they managed to do was come runners up to them. So this was someone that could have built off of that momentum. Like, what does Daniel Levy gain from? Do you think Thomas Frank doesn't want to come in October? You think Brentford are in the fucking hot seat to win the league in October? If you give Ange to October, the recruitment structure you have at the club, there's no way if you think someone's going in 2 months that Daniel Levy's going to fucking, allow signings to come in that isn't going to match the philosophy of manager he's going to go after next.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to be prudent in that area. And, if Tottenham had started and rode this wave, we could have been flying. If not, does it really fucking change in October? No. I mean, Brentford will be probably anywhere between sort of 15th to 10th. And I think it works perfectly for Thomas Frank as well. He built a really good Brentford team. It's started to get picked apart. You see Ivan Toney leave. It looks like
Mbeumo's on his way out, yeah.
Gonna leave. No doubt there'll be people coming in for Visser as well after the season that he's had. So there's a rebuild that's going to be needed to be done at Brentford. Sorry. So I think it suits him that someone's knocking on his door right now, and it's probably, although the league table doesn't reflect it, it's probably one of the biggest 6 teams in that division, and he can run with that. But I think Daniel Levy's going to end up yet again sitting with egg on his face. What's he had to pay? 4 million to get Postecoglou out? I think it's something like 9 million.
4 to 9 million between that is reported.
So it's like I think it's 4 million to get Postecoglou out, 9 million to get Thomas Frank out of his contract. 15.
Yeah. I think he had 10 to 13 million or something like that.
You're fucking. I mean, you're down 13 million quid just to put a fucking manager in the sack one. Talking about Daniel Levy being financially prudent sounds like a fucking moron.
I think it's I think you look especially with the managers who have come in the past and have failed to deliver. The Mourinhos who've come in, the Contes who've come in, and Postecoglou's come in. Had one season, got 5th place, built on that, but then of course had that. It was a horrendous season in a league campaign for Spurs.
Yeah, look, there's
no hiding away from that.
No, they can talk about injuries all they want. They should have had players good enough to beat likes of Ipswich and stuff like that. So yeah, it was poor. But what do you define if you're not a club that challenges, right? So at the start of the season, Spurs don't think we're going to win the league, right? What they hope for is that we will qualify for the Champions League. So they want to be in that top 4 bracket, top 5, and in their wildest dreams, a trophy, fucking holy grail. And at the start of the season, they're just begging for an FA Cup, right?
Mm.
So there has to be a little bit of leeway that you deliver a European trophy. And fuck all this shit like, it was set up for him to win it and they were the favourites.
I don't think they were though.
They
I
weren't
think,
the favourites.
I think by the time it kicked off with the way that I think they were bookies' favourites to win the Europa League. But see, look at the Champions League. Madrid would have been favourites to win that. I mean, they didn't fucking do it.
No.
Barcelona would have been favourites to beat Inter Milan. They didn't do it. So being favourites means absolutely fuck all when you don't do it.
And the being favourites, they're talking like maybe favourites on paper, but they're not taking into consideration, as you said, this is their holy grail. They haven't won in nearly 2 decades. No one is realistically backing Tottenham to win a trophy at this stage.
I'm pretty sure Bodo Glimt was backed over them in the semis.
Like, I don't know the past winners of everyone, but I would love to know that they're all talking the Champions League clubs drop down. I would love to know how often a Champions League club that dropped down before into the Europa League and the Europa Cup goes on to win that competition. They don't give a fuck about it.
No, absolutely
What
not.
difference does it mean? But yes, it would have been tougher to get to the final. You'd have had to go through some slightly harder teams. You probably wouldn't have been playing Bodo Glimt in a semi-final. But so far,
No, it's mental. No, I personally would have given him a little bit more time. I would have given him a little bit more time because I think if Thomas Frank comes in,
Eight
8.
8 teams since 2000 have won the Europa League after being eliminated from the Champions League.
yeah. So you think what's that? 24 iterations.
And that's including Spurs.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
24 iterations of it, not even half. So people talking about the Champions League clubs dropping down and all this stuff.
But I don't think Thomas Frank gets a season at Spurs. I really don't.
He'll get a season. Levy won't bin him after one.
Depends on what he gets given. If he's given like a super bumper, like 3-4 year contract, he'll get him to the end of the season at the very least. But I don't know. I think
Thomas Frank will do a solid job, right? But Tottenham will revert right back into that mould where they finish anywhere between sort of 5th and 8th.
Yeah.
And that'll be them, you know?
Yeah.
And the Champions League, like I said, it'll be a few nice games from them, but good luck. I think you're going deep in that.
They should have definitely, as you said, kept Ange on a little bit longer and given him another chance. He's gone into this thinking they want a trophy. He's given them a trophy. Then they've gone, well, actually, we wanted to do better in the league. Surely give him the chance to do better in the league and been off trying to win another trophy.
I think the players are a little bit gutted about it as well. I mean, I saw Pedro Porro's post, and he was obviously brought in by Ange initially, and has put in so much faith in him. He's established himself as one of the Premier League's top right backs in the league.
He's back in the Spain team there as well, isn't he?
He's back in the Spain team. It was obviously it was always going to be a tough decision. It always was going to be. But I think the outpour from it, and knowing the fact that you're playing Champions League football next year, it's something. It honestly is such a good platform to build on.
Manager should never be sacked if they got the team into the Champions League.
It sounds wild just with that statement.
That's just mental.
And then what happens with signings? They were linked with Leroy Sané, weren't they? A few days ago. That's all got quiet now that Ange is away. So. I can't imagine that Ange Postecoglou was that big a pulling power to Leroy Sané. The last thing that I'll leave it on is I have no sympathy for Ange, right? He walked out on us without giving us a clear answer, went down to the soulless division that is the English Premier League, and you're dealing with fucking absolute knobs like Levy down there. Not to say that Peter Laurel and Desmond with us are any better, but there's no loyalty. The Tottenham fans that are now annoyed at Daniel Levy, right, 3 weeks ago were saying that he had to go. There's no loyalty down there, and he's paid for that.
But the thing is, though, it's contradicting to the fans as well, because there was fans back in February where we sat here where Tottenham were losing 5-6 games on the trot, and they were turning their back on Ange, and with their having him to say like, well, he's got to put all his eggs in one basket and try and win this Europa League. But they were done with him initially. They've washed their hands on him back in February, and now all of a sudden he's won them their first trophy in 17 years, their first European trophy in 40 years, got them Champions League football. He's been given the boot, and now they've all turned on Levy. Not obviously, it's not the first time it's happened, but it's just amazing how heads can turn so quickly.
Yeah.
But well, he's definitely favoured for the Cardiff job now. So he's not. No.
Aaron Ramsey dipping off to Mexico.
Yeah, that was something that I really didn't expect to come to fruition. I don't think I told you this, Gondor, but Aaron Ramsey has agreed terms to join Mexican side Pumas, Mexican side based in Guadalajara. I can nail that pronunciation as well.
You've been practicing.
Yeah, I have, yeah. Actually, I won't mention their name. Yeah, so agreed terms. Obviously, he made it clear at the end of the championship season that he wanted to prolong his playing career. He wanted to make a late push in terms of making the Welsh set up if we were to qualify for the World Cup next year.
And this is his opportunity.
Well, from what I've heard, that his agent is also the agent of the manager of Pumas in Mexico, and so I think there's been a link there, which has obviously given him an opportunity for him to prolong his playing career. Like, I mean, we saw last year. I know obviously he's been injured for the majority of the 2 seasons he's been at the club since he's returned, but I do feel like he was going to be a player that was going to be a bit part. He'd be obviously huge in the dressing room, but by all means wasn't going to be a huge playful figure.
We said that when he signed, didn't we? Like, he's there to coach the youngsters and lead the dressing room.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, fair play, wants to prolong his playing career. He's wrong. I think he's got a bunch of teammates who respect him, who he's been working with already. I honestly think he should have.
I would have loved him.
Maybe not the manager job, but stayed as part of the setup in Cardiff and push. I don't know if he's ready to be a full manager for a team like Cardiff yet, but work with whoever's hired and be one of the ones to take it on in the future, because we know you're going to have a couple.
The thing was with Ramsey, right? Obviously, he came in the last 3 games of last season as our interim boss. Came in, he had a good coaching setup with him. He had Chris Gunter, he had Rulesy there with him as well, and it was always going to be very risky going into League One with someone who has got next to no managerial experience.
3 games under their belt.
Exactly, and I think the board recognised it eventually. But the thing is, what I don't get with this board right now is that they have made this massive hoo-ha about how they are they're trialing a new procedure in terms of who we're going to pick for our next manager. And so what I'll do, like I said, it's going to be very long-winded, but I'll shorten it down. So basically what we've done is that we have got a subcommittee involved, internal and external. So the internal subcommittee consists of our academy manager, Gavin Chesterfield, but now we've also got some external members. One that consists of a representative from the Wesserman Sports Agency, which is an agency that is based in Los Angeles, globally recognised for promoting talent, essentially. Along with that, we have brought on board a former sporting director of Swansea City, Mark Allen. It already sounds Cardiff-esque already, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
The objective was that they were to compile a list of candidates. They would cut down that list of candidates, bring forward a shortlist to the board. The board will undergo interviews with each of those candidates, and they make a decision, and they bring that proposal to Vincent Tan, because of course he's got to have the final decision.
Yeah.
The thing is, we started this at the beginning of May. A decision was meant to be made by the end of May. They stated that. We are now on the 9th of June speaking, and we don't have a first team manager yet.
But I'm actually going to follow that up because I am kind of following the Cardiff hunt for a manager because it interests me.
Yeah. Because it's fucking comedy, that's why. You know what I mean?
But the last article I read did say, and I read this on Saturday, said that the current expected announcement date was within the next 7 days.
The next 7 days.
So it is expected at the moment, according to Welsh media, that you should be announcing your first team manager this week.
Because you know why I think that it's been delayed though? It's because what they've done, they've
said go for Ramsey and then he's fucked off.
No, not even Ramsey. I think they've fallen back on Ramsey and then he's fucked off. I think they put all their eggs in one basket with Nathan Jones. Now there's everything. There's everything wrong with that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Nathan Jones has been my personal favourite, my personal number one target for the last year.
When we were talking about him before Reza took over, you were pushing for him.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, self-confessed Cardiff City fan, but has done a fantastic job at Charlton, and obviously at the time when they were undergoing this process, he was in the playoff final with Charlton, who evidently beat Leyton Orient. At the time, we just thought, well, I think they thought we can attract him down to League One. Obviously, if he's at Charlton, then it's like a sideways move on paper. What they didn't realise was that he has 3 years remaining on his contract. He's done a fantastic job at Charlton. From what I've read and what has been reported is that if we were to buy him out of his contract, it's going to be a 7-figure sum. Vincent Tan's not going to want to pay that. Absolutely not.
Vincent Tan wouldn't pay a 6-figure sum.
No, exactly. No, he absolutely wouldn't, especially for a manager. And this is a guy who allowed us to pay $7.5 million on Andreas Cornelius. And so, anyway, yeah, got Charlton promoted. It seemed like we still try to really, persevere that approach and really try and lower him down. And then, it was shot down instantly last Friday because he signed a new 5-year deal with Charlton, which was basically just like a statement to say, like, no, I'm not interested. I've got this going on at Charlton. I'm not leaving.
Yeah. So here's my question then. This subcommittee with external and internal and all these processes, how did they not work out that he was not going to come? Surely this would have saved time and money, because even the negotiations are going to cost money. How did they not flag, okay, he's not interested? We play a lot of FM. Anytime we try and sign a player that doesn't want to, it's happening a lot in my Welsh save. I will go in to negotiate something with someone, and the agent just says, nah, fuck off.
Think of the members who are on the board at Cardiff. That's all I've got to say. The reason why they put this structure in place is because they've openly admitted and said that they don't have enough football-minded individuals on the board. This is why they put this in place.
They have one, and it was a Swansea fan.
Well, he's external.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Like, how did this external committee also not pick up on this?
But he knows football. It's football, That's what it is. But, like, look, as things stand, obviously, like I said, Ramsey's agreed to move to Mexico. Yeah. And so the candidates that are reported as of today, our favourite right now is Des Buckingham, former Oxford United manager.
Mm.
He gained promotion with them last season via the playoffs. He then got the boot in December. Don't get me wrong, like Mayhem, they get worse. They get worse from this point. If you've saying who to Des Buckingham, wait until the next two names pop up. Ahead of them, so second favourite, is Brian Barry Murphy. Exactly.
Brian Barry, go way back.
Brian Barry Murphy. He is currently a first-team coach at Leicester City. Not a manager, first-team coach. He screams out Paul Trollope in my head. Now, Brian Barry Murphy has had some managerial experience between the years of 2019 to 2021. He had 2 years at Rochdale United. Didn't go well. He has about a 30% win ratio.
Which league were Rochdale playing in at the time?
Probably League Two.
All right, okay. So...
I'm not too sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Honestly, if there's any listeners who are Oxford fans, Rochdale fans, or even Bolton fans, which obviously gives away the clue for the third one, please give me your insights in terms of your experience following your club under these individuals. Please do. And the third individual I'm about to mention now is ex-Bolton boss Ian Evatt.
I know who that is.
You know, I was slightly more familiar with him than Brian Barry Murphy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know who Ian Evatt is.
But they're the three names that are heavily linked.
Just want to tell you something here. I'm sorry. You were wrong. Brian Barry Murphy has had further management.
He has.
He has. On the 24th of July, 2021, he was announced as a manager of Manchester City Elite Development Squad.
Solid.
Well,
I'm sorry,
all
but...
I'm going to say is Wikipedia can go fuck itself.
This is on Wikipedia.
No, I didn't see it on there.
I've got it open now.
I didn't see it on there.
It's not under his managerial career on the...
there you go.
No, on the pop-up bit that's at the side. You have to go to his actual managerial
Wait, who is it
career.
again?
Manchester City Elite Development Squad. I'm going down this
You sure it's not his fucking pro clubs team or something?
It's Manchester City's reserve level football.
Oh,
predominantly
right,
under 23 side.
No, you're right. No, he did. You know what? Because when I looked it up, and I just thought, I swear he was at Man City at one point. Like, not obviously not under 21s, but he was like within like the younger categories, but it never came up. And Rochdale just stood out to me. Fans didn't really take lightly to him at all, from what I've read. But yeah, that's the situation we're in right now. I'd like to think that we'll announce a name this week, if not following week.
Fuck me, mate.
But mate,
let's hope you don't.
Just to give you a thing as well, I'm properly going into this Brian Barry thing. He took over League One Rochdale when they were in 22nd place,
right?
And he led them to 16th place.
Okay, not bad.
And then the following year, they made it to the third round of the League Cup, where they lost 5-3 on penalties at Old Trafford against Manchester United. And the third cup, FA Cup third round, where they managed a draw against Newcastle before losing the replay at 4-1. But they finished 18th place because COVID ended the season early.
Right, I don't know what to make of that, because it started off very promising.
Like, what are these names? Where are they even getting them?
This is what I'm talking about. The names are just so obscure, so to speak.
Do you know what? I don't know the first guy very well. Know the last guy in passing.
I'd take Big Mick back at this point. Fuck me, like.
But no, I don't know the first name very well.
Know the last centre backs again.
No, the last name in passing. But I've just done my research on this Brian Barry. He's my favourite.
Oh, for fuck's sake, no! Because you know, Friday club statement.
Brian Barry, white smoke. Brian Barry.
No, honestly,
no.
I'd much.
Do you know what?
I'd prefer Buckingham or Evatt over
Yeah.
Barry Murphy.
No, but we've already said, I started this entire part by saying that Ramsey shouldn't have been the manager and him leaving was a good idea. Now, fuck that. Cancel the transfer, bring him back, have him as your manager. I think you'll have the best odds with him.
You know what's just ridiculous though? Like putting this big process and structure in place, and
And
we're
getting
gonna
names like that.
at one point it really felt like we're just gonna end up with the same manager that we had for the final 3 games.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, yeah, it just screams Cardiff.
How
I mean,
much money do you reckon
what's the
they've put
point?
into this as well?
What's the point in
Exactly.
putting this all in place when the best 3 names is okay, a guy that got promoted from the division you're in, fair enough. Oxford, well done, but Oxford see fit to bin him.
Yeah.
Brian Barry, fucking ball bag, who no
Yeah.
one knows where he come from, and then Everett, who got sacked from Bolton because he couldn't get out of League One.
This is it. Like,
What's the
You
point?
you need a manager like that. The first guy, I've
it's
forgotten
like
his
the
name.
blind leading the
I've
blind. They're like,
yeah.
right, we know we're incompetent. We're going to bring in some external incompetent people.
Yeah, I've forgotten the first guy's name already. But that's beside the point. He's the only one that has now got experience
In the championship.
leading a team through a promotion push.
Yeah.
You're a team that is going down with the full expectation, or the full expectation should at least be there, that you're gonna come back and fucking win the league. On paper, you've got the team to do it.
It depends if we can retain it though as well.
But they've come out, enough of them have come out and said that they don't want to go. That's all up to Tan.
I don't know. Like, it's football as well. Like, I feel like money talks as well. Money talks. I think there's better clubs elsewhere who will show interest, and if they get a shine of that, then I can see it. There's no loyalty in football, mate. Like I don't trust anything that's said. Like, you know,
I think a
Also
lot
not
of it,
fucking brain cell in South Wales by the sounds of it. Jesus.
but
not a
I
lot of brain
think
cells, that's for sure. No.
everything is hinging on this managerial appointment, because if the team believe that this is a blip and it's a yo-yo and they're back up into the Champions League with the options to push forward, they might stay. They will be more inclined to stay than if they hire a fucking Barry nobody. The players are going to go, no, fuck this.
You
Like,
know what? You know what I think that needs to happen. I think one of us needs to win the Euro Million so we can buy a stake in the club and we can get on board and we'll fucking show them how it's done.
Need more than Euro Millions, mate. That club
Tell-
hemorrhages money.
tell you what, how about this? If Vincent Tan's listening, not that he is, sack the external fucking
Vincent Tan
subcommittee,
sell the club.
hire us, we'll find a manager.
And then Vincent Tan is sell the fucking club.
Yeah.
Just get on.
Yeah.
Don't worry about putting anyone else in place. You're fucking dangerous making decisions. I'd be scared to watch you fucking cross a road. Like you're that fucking unhinged. You probably walk when it's red.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Just
Hard to walk across the road if you're
I've said this so many times. Just fucking sell up, get gone, allow someone to come in that
has a passion for the game.
well, that doesn't exist anymore, does it? Was it now? Fucking 12. There's 12 owners in the Premier League that are American. Try to franchise everything off.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah.
fucking dead. But allow someone to come in that just understands football a little bit more, and that isn't difficult. And find a name. Like, see, when you go down, right, the one thing you can do as a football club is you can appoint someone that just gives you a bit of belief. No offense to Des Buckingham. I know that he got promoted with Oxford. That doesn't inspire anyone. Barry, no. Everett, fuck, no. Like, just at least give someone a fucking allow there to be a bit of buzz about the place. You can't tell me, right, that whoever's in charge of Stockport, whoever's in charge of Leyton Orient, these clubs that weren't really close, right? If Cardiff come knocking, they wouldn't be interested. Like, you can't tell me that. It's just bullshit that they wouldn't be. It's career progression, and we're just.
You talk about Spurs and United being like the toughest jobs to manage. Like Vincent Tan is there. Like, hold my beer.
No.
You know what I mean?
But Vincent,
Oh,
didn't he do the same thing to his other club? Their manager did the best that he's
Oh
done
no,
in a
they got
while.
the Belgian club.
Oh
They got
no,
relegated.
they got
They got
relegated. Yeah.
relegated. Yeah, got relegated. And they had Roko Simic on loan for the first fucking 6 months.
bring Ronnie Dyler in. I can give him a ring.
So we should start by saying, unfortunately, we do the football booth in two sections, and in the break between the two sections, Joel had to leave. While we're doing this as well, let's also state that we don't hide absolutely everything about what we're doing with each other when we do the Football Manager Challenge. We do discuss things we have to with transfers and other things that pop up. And Joel had told us that he didn't quite play as far as we did, so he wasn't going to update as much today anyway.
If you were heavily observant at the start of the episode, yes, me and Joel were part of a stag do. We had a long weekend away in Bournemouth, and let's just say it took him a little bit longer to recover than I did. But I mean, well, we both did, to be honest, and obviously that's why. that's why.
But you've also come home to have a bit
I've
more
come
time.
home. I've had time to catch up on things. Obviously,
And
you've
Joel's
gone.
come home to family, and
Yeah, exactly. And so so Mayhem had nothing to update. The gist of it is that he's in January. He's mid-January. He's just completed the 10th round of the French Cup, which he did win against Reims, and he still has half a season to finish. However, me and you, Gondor, did finish our. Is it our third or fourth?
this is our fourth season.
Fourth
This
season.
is our fourth season.
Well,
And
why don't
I'll
you
give
kick us off,
everyone.
man?
I'll give everyone the points as well. I was finishing this season while you two were on your stag do.
Yes. Yeah.
I was sending some small updates because I had scenes, right? I don't remember if on the last one we had already played half the season or if we hadn't. I feel like we were just starting the season in the last one. I don't know if you can confirm or deny that.
Sorry, I was getting my pictures up. What do you say?
I said I don't remember if we had actually played any of this season when we did our last update. I don't think we did.
I think we started it because
Like
we had that little brain fart with our goalkeeping situation, didn't we?
Yes.
Right.
So we played maybe the first 5 games, but I'll do a season recap for you here. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I started off. I played Marseille, and it was a 2-2 draw, followed by Troyes 4-0 win. Monaco, who have been one of my, I beat them enough, but they were always finishing above me, and I drew to them 3-3.
Good result, to be fair.
Yeah. Lille, I beat 3-2. No. Lyon, I beat 3-2. Lille, I lost 2-1. I'm going to use my mouse to track this because it highlights when I go over it with my mouse.
There you go. It's fine.
Toulouse, I beat 4-1. Rennes, I beat 3-1. Angers.
Yeah, the second one.
Angers, I beat 4-0. Auxerre, I drew 0-0. I beat OG Nice 1-0. I beat Lorient 2-0. I lost to PSG 2-1.
Home or away?
Home.
Oh.
So I've still never beaten PSG. Montpellier. Then we go into November. So Montpellier, I beat 4-2. RC Lens beat 5-1. Reims, I beat 2-0. Nantes beat 4-1. I lost 3-0 to Strasbourg away.
You know what? I don't know what it is with fucking Strasbourg in the French. I don't understand. They're like my bogey team.
I know.
Can't stand playing them. And they haven't even got their fucking that fucking superhero Dutch striker Emegia, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
in my save now. He's moved on to like Barcelona or Inter or something. But yeah, they still fucking managed to fucking pull one over
Let's
me.
have a look. What's his name? Emegia.
Yeah, where is... Well, you know what? That's a good question. Where is Emegia in your save? Because that guy is unbelievable for Strasbourg. Honestly, like he's always up there in the top 3 top scorers.
Oh, Emegia still plays for them.
Well, he's probably scored against you as well.
He made 29 appearances, 18 goals this season for Strasbourg.
Ridiculous.
I can tell you the goal scorers in that game. Emegia got 2, and then Abakar Silla got 1. I could have saved time just looking at my...
I told you that. Honestly, if you get... Honestly, any Football Manager players listening, sign Emmanuel Emegia because he is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Goal-scoring
But then,
machine.
just to finish off December, I then got Marseille again, and I beat them 3-2. Now, at this point, I was sat second. Okay? I was sat second at this point, and I thought, I'm having a great time. This is amazing. I was about 40,000, 50,000 under wage budget. A little bit in the transfer kitty. I'm thinking, I go out in January. I've got like 4 players left I can sign. Buy some squad depth, start preparing for next season. Note comes in on my inbox. Due to financial difficulties, we are cutting your wage budget.
Oh, that's the
Now,
worst thing to see in your inbox.
You see that and you think, all right, they're going to cut 20, 30, 40,000 off my wage budget, 150k taken out of my wage budget.
You had fuck all left then, didn't you?
I've gone from being 50k under, 40, 50k under my wage budget.
Because you were in line with it as well.
Yeah,
This is the
to
thing.
£100,000 a week over my wage budget. I'm immediately sat there going, shit.
Wow, we really should have made you sell your best player now.
I've got to sell someone. And do you know what I did?
Because at least in Football Manager, because you can always adjust the transfer budget to the wage budget.
Yeah, but that didn't help me because I only had a couple of 100,000 in the transfer budget. That barely gave me 2k in the wage budget because it's not an even split.
No.
So I come into this transfer window, the January transfer window, and I'm like, shit, I got to sell someone. I sold someone. All right. Luke Zogby.
Well-known name.
Yep. He's been part of the team since before I started. He has never played a game for Brest. I sold him for 3,900.
All right.
So
every little helps.
That was my entire transfer window. I spent the second half of the season with my managerial support from the board at a D because I'm so over the wage budget.
But that's not your fault, though, ultimately.
No, I have no control over their finances. I have been running this entire save at a transfer profit.
Yeah.
Every season, I have made a transfer profit. I am doing my bit to save this club money. So we go into the French Cup. It's January the 3rd now.
January the 3rd, yep. So the ninth round.
Ninth round.
Yeah, as you do in a normal cup competition, you go to the 9th round.
Yeah. I had Dijon.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
So I imagine there'd be Ligue 2 in your save.
They are Ligue 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I beat them 2-0.
Beat them 2-0, okay.
2 weeks later, 10th round.
Yep.
FC Nantes.
Oh, come on, please.
Beat them 3-0.
Yes, thank you, Gondor. Thank you.
Followed that up, league game on the 22nd. 3-0 victory over Lyon.
Very nice. Very nice.
Followed that up with another Lille game and another Lille loss. 3-2. at home. RC Lens were my 11th round pick for the French Cup. So they're in my league. They're a tough team.
Yep.
5-0.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. Sure. Moving
Yep.
on.
5 different goal scorers as well, including.
I love those kind of games.
4
I love
different goal
You know
scorers.
what? I'd much rather
4
someone
different goal
score.
scorers.
I'd rather there be like different goal scorers than someone scoring 4 in that game.
So I'll tell you this: it was Lam Chuana. You know him.
Definitely butchered that. Yep,
Yeah.
go on.
He scored on the 13th minute. Then Bragantia scored on the 17th. My right back, Antoine Mendy, scored on the 33rd. And then German Valera scored 2 to put the game to bed. And
I'm glad you reassured me that Antoine Mendy plays for you because he's popped up a few times. And you know what? I don't think he's good enough to...
He's absolutely good enough. He has been fantastic this season. But
That's
don't
good
sign
to
him.
know.
I've got him.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Don't worry. I'm going to have my hold my beer moment very shortly, but you carry on.
You know, a nice 5-0 victory in the French Cup. Let's follow it up with a 5-0 victory against Toulouse in the league. This one was 5 different goal scorers with Pereira Lage, Jarlo, Tchouauna again, Nejesmich, and Valera.
Tchouauna, he's the winger for you, isn't he?
He's the winger.
Yeah.
And for a reminder, Darko Nejesmich, he's the fucker that I signed to make the goalkeeper happy. So he's actually coming in clutch this season as well.
Well, I'm sure, obviously you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting someone who contributes to the side, and Nico Cavallina has someone to wank him off. So there you go.
Followed that up against Rennes, beat them 3-0. Then I drew SM Caen.
SM Caen.
Now you might remember. You might remember that team's name.
Owen Wilson, you were there.
Yeah, sorry. But you might
remember. Wow.
You might remember that team name.
I do remember that team name. I do.
And why do you remember that team? Yeah, but there's a reason. There it is. 2 seasons ago, they're the team that knocked me out in the 9th round.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So I'm going into this game freaking out. It's the French Cup quarter-final. 2-0 victory. Easy.
Yeah.
Guess who scored the first one? Antoine Mendy.
Oh, yo, my name is Antoine.
Then I played Angers. 2-2 draw. Game against Troyes, 1-0 win. Auxerre, 4-1 win. Second game against Nice, 1-0 victory. Lorient, 4-2 victory. PSG at away.
That's always a gasp, isn't it?
2-0 loss.
Okay,
I don't lose badly to PSG, but I do lose every time.
Yeah.
French Cup semi-final. OGC Nice.
OGC.
Right. Now, Nice are not an easy team.
No, you know what? They're a team that have always competed with the top 4.
Yeah. Made it look easy. 4-0 win.
Oh, yeah. Right, well, obviously not that good then. Right, moving on.
Montpellier, 4-2 win. RC Lens, 2-0 win. Reims, 4-0 win. Nantes, 1-1 draw.
Oh, I was about to pump my fist there, but you didn't lose. You didn't lose. That's what matters.
Strasbourg at home.
Here we go.
The guy that you said didn't score. Megia or whatever his name is.
Megia, yeah.
Yeah, Megia. Odson Edouard got 2.
Oh, wait. What? Oh, they got Odson Edouard?
They've got Odson Edouard.
That's not fair. You can't have a Megia and then Edouard at your fucking disposal. That's not fair.
He scored 1 on the 60th minute. Now, I'll tell you this straight up. I had scored on the 37th minute. Okay. So he got the equaliser on the 60th minute. Mm-hmm. Odson Edouard also scored on the 92nd minute.
I still feel there's more to come from this.
Yeah, I scored on the 66th, the 76th, the 78th, and the 90th minute as well. It was a 5-2 victory.
All right, very nice, very nice. Shut up, aren't you?
Last game of the league season. Monaco. Now, as I said, Monaco are a tough team.
Very tough team.
Like, I have
Talk
good
about
results.
top 4. Monaco are
Monaco
top 3.
top 2.
Top 3.
They've consistently been like second place in my save.
Yeah. They're always up there. When I say top 3, I'm talking about like us gate crashing that situation.
I've never finished in the top 3. The highest I finished is 4th.
True.
5th.
But
4th, 5th,
no,
one of them.
Yeah, 4th or 5th, one of the two.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, 6-2
against Monaco.
against Monaco.
You were at home, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take anything away from it.
No, absolutely not. No, not taking.
So I finished the league. 34 games played. 24 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. My team scored 93 goals. We conceded 39, with a goal difference of 54 and a points total of 77.
You had a goal difference of 54.
Mate, Cavallina, it's a great goal. We only conceded 39.
Yeah,
as I
he's
say.
great if he's got his fucking best pal from Croatia with him.
We finished second.
Second
because in the league, PSG pulled an unbeatable season. 32 wins, 32 wins, 2 draws. They had 98 points.
Ridiculous.
They had 99 goals scored, only 6 more than us, 21 conceded, and a goal difference of 78. So I finished second with 77 points. But it doesn't end there, because those who are keen-eared may have heard that I mentioned league quite a few times there. I said that was the end of the league season.
You did.
And I finished second. I also said in the league, PSG had an invincible season.
They did.
Well, PSG versus Brest in the final of the French Cup, and their invincible season goes down the fucking drain. 1-0.
Oh, well done.
Lamek Banda, 21st minute, scored the winner.
Let's welcome Gondor to the Silverware Hall of Fame of the Football Booth podcast.
Because that is, I believe,
because I think in stature as well, that's above like the French Community Shield equivalent to what Mayhem won at the beginning of the
yeah. No, I think so.
So in terms of reputation of the competition, you're up there.
Do you know what I got out of this season?
Wait, did you get your budgets as well?
I got my budgets as well. Here's the kicker for you. Ready? Let's see if I've still got the inbox message. Budgets. Can I search it? Budgets.
Get your budgets up, mate.
This search bar is shit. It does not work.
Kicking off.
Oh, mate, this.
Kicking off. But I think based off of your tone, it was either really good or it was incredibly underwhelming.
Where are my budgets?
I've got a feeling it's going to be the latter.
I think I've gone just a little bit too far forward for the budgets, but I've got to some important news that I'll share at the end as well.
Well, you haven't spent anything, so you can just check your...
No, but I know what my budgets are. I know what my budgets are because I kicked off about it. I was fuming. So they've given me £1.68 million to spend.
That's a fucking piss take.
Champions League football next season. £1.68 million to spend.
French Cup winners.
But here's the kicker. Do you know what they did to my wage budget?
This is the kicker. Are
They gave me back what I was spending at the start of this season.
Well,
I have no wage budget.
Well, what can you say, eh? What can you say?
They straight up said, no, you're spending too much money on wages. We're taking it away. I win the cup. They go, do you know what? That amount of money on wages is perfect. Here, have it back. And I'm not joking you. It's exactly what my wage budgets were when
you were basically going into January.
Before they took it away from me. So I'm
That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'd jump ship if I were you.
I did have a look at the job
Yeah, you know
centre.
what? Yeah, that does.
I looked at the job centre, and I'll be open with you. There's a couple of English teams that are shouting at me, but we're trying to avoid England.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid the Premier League. If you
Um,
haven't listened to the past few episodes, we are trying to avoid the Premier League because
I,
it feels too easy. Like I feel you get a good budget, you get the time given to you to really build an elite squad essentially.
yeah, and I've tried to push that a bit more as well, and just I'm avoiding England full stop.
Yeah.
But there was one that shouted out at me in the Bundesliga,
Okay.
Wolfsburg.
I think you've mentioned this as well.
But they finished the season in 10th.
Yeah,
Even with
it's
everything,
all right. It's all right.
I've got
But
Champions League football.
Yeah, exactly. You got to.
I've got to stay.
You got to take into account the place you're in with Brest at the moment, and
La
I think
Liga.
at the very least, if you do finish runner up in the league, right? I think at the very least you're going to attract suitors to certain players that you have.
I'm waiting for the season to tick over and the reputation to
exactly,
boost.
Yeah, because I think you're in a good place. I think the board have done you dirty.
But there are some clubs that I am still looking at. Okay, so in La Liga, there was one, and you'll appreciate this, Fennon.
Okay.
Villarreal. Now, in our past, when we used to play Soccer Manager online,
oh my,
Villarreal was my go-to team to start managing.
yeah.
So I'm looking at that like, ooh.
Oh, they were the good old days.
But they finished sixth, which is I. But again, I think that's probably a step down from where I'm at now.
The Spanish league is a very complex league to manage in as well, and I think you'll know very well as well, Gondor. When we used to stream together, we managed Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
When it was like, it wasn't.
It was tough.
It was really difficult to really break that top two of Real Madrid and Barcelona.
But the one,
mate,
the one that I might apply for.
Oh, there is one you're going to apply for.
No, I don't have the name fix. So this is the ridiculous name.
It's going to be an Italian club, isn't it?
It's Serie A.
Right. Say the name on screen right now. And
I know which club it is.
All right. Okay.
Because the second word gives it away. There's only two that it could be, and based on the first word, you guess it. So the name on screen is Blue Neri Milano.
Blue Neri. Oh, do it.
So
no,
I think
that's a club that is more than capable of competing for a league title,
and Champions League,
Champions League football guaranteed. The Italian league isn't too bad to manage in either.
No,
because the scouting pool in Italy is incredibly strong as well.
Yeah. So some small fun facts for you then here. I just think these are interesting. These are things that popped up in my inbox. We broke a record this season. Brest broke a record this season. Brest's total of 77 points is a new record high without winning the Liga 1 title.
That's mad.
Yeah. Then we've got the Stars team of the season.
Yep.
Okay. So this is across the entire league, the team of the season. 10 players are PSG players, but the right winger, Laum Tchouameni, or whatever his name is, Tchouameni, yeah.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah. So he got into the Ligue 1 team of the season ahead of PSG.
Bravo. Fuck you, Mbappe.
And Cavallina was nominated for goalkeeper of the season. He didn't win it because Donnarumma did, of course.
Yeah, because Donnarumma doesn't need a teammate to join him at the club, does he?
The one really nice one for me. Okay. Gondor Gaming.
Manager of the season.
Manager of the season.
Salute.
So I've had the best season probably of this entire FM. I don't think I've ever had a season that I've done so well because it wasn't an easy season. It was hard fought, and I'm very happy with how I've ended up. Until
Like, I feel bad now, like, following up with it, because it's a phenomenal. I can't even say the word because I'm just absolutely.
oh, we also got 0 red cards across the whole season. That for me as well is a
How
huge
did you
achievement.
do that?
I don't know.
I've had about 4 or 5. Like,
We had 40 yellow cards, but 0 red.
I've had loads of red cards this season. Probably, I guess it doesn't help when you instruct your players to tackle harder. But, so look, but I guess that's the cue for me to take over.
Aye.
Right. So I do recall when we last left off last episode that I'd approached January, you'd approached January, and I went into January with, in the form of my life with Clermont. We had a very strong December where we had some interesting results to start off with. We went away to Guingamp, low-key favourite of yours, Gondor.
We're never going to lose that pronunciation.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know it's probably Guangomp or something like that. Something when you sound, what you sound like when you got a gobstopper in your mouth. It's gonna be one of those. But we beat Guingamp 6-5 away from home. 6-5. I don't know what's like. I could see the 5 to Guingamp. They got relegated this season.
So let's be honest. Was it 5-5, and then on the 92nd minute you just ran on the pitch
No.
the diving header?
Yeah. Mate, fuck me. If I could do that, I would have done that last Thursday. But no, I think it was. If I remember correctly, I think we were probably about 6-2 up, and we just. I think we got a little bit. Well, I think we got a little bit too complacent, but thankfully we saw the game out and we got 3 points. Then we had Sevilla in the Champions League, so I have got Champions League fixtures to share with you as well. We played Sevilla at home. We actually had a really tough run in the Champions League. We got drawn against some stupid teams like the likes of Bayern Munich, Atletico, Real Madrid, and yeah, like we didn't come out on top, that's for sure. But with Sevilla, we drew 1-1 at home. Then we did famously beat PSG by 3-1. And then we wrapped up December with a 6-2 win over Troyes, or Troyes if you're English.
I called it Troyes.
I know you do. But then the January transfer window kicked in, and I'd only made one signing in the summer transfer window, and that was purely because me and you had that misunderstanding with Cavallina. I dropped Cavallina. I said I was going to sell him. I'm going to bring in a goalkeeper on loan for the season to fill the void.
Well, I mean, you also told me that you had a goalkeeper already, but you lost him or something like that because you hadn't played Cavallina.
I can't remember that far back, to be honest.
You said he'd pissed you off.
No.
Cavallina you benched him.
Cavallina pissed me off an entire season.
So you benched him, is what you said.
I think I ended up playing like one of my like youth graduates or whatever who had like 5-star potential. I thought I'll put him in goal, like to let Cavallina know that I'm the fucking boss and I do the fucking judging round here.
I'm not messing around, mate.
Not messing around. And he also got annoyed because I accidentally dropped him to the under-21s along with 18 other players in my squad. But we won't talk about that. And so we went into January. We got drawn against Brest in the 9th round. Go figure. And we scraped past. We won 2-1. I'm saying now you're in a better place with Brest than they are in Ligue 2 in my save.
Well, mate, I'll tell you this now. You're in a better place than Clermont, who are also
100%.
also in Ligue 2.
Can we just like let's give ourselves a pat on the back in terms of the job we have done respectively with.
Oh, Clermont just got promoted back to Ligue 1.
Go on, the Clermont.
Who?
Go on the foot.
Le Havre are 13th. Just putting it out there.
I haven't seen Le Havre in 2 seasons.
No, I've not seen them since the first season.
So anyway, build off of that 9th round victory, we got an easier draw in the 10th round. We got drawn against Le Mans FC, who were at least League 2, if not lower, and we were away. We comfortably won 4-0. We then went back to Champions League action, and we were away at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid. Good news is, I scored at the Bernabeu. Couldn't believe it.
Hey.
Bad news is, I shit 4. We lost 4-1.
The Mono French national, by the way, so third tier.
Yeah, exactly.
But 4-1, that's still all right.
It's all right. I think last season I got drawn against them, and I did a little bit better. I think it was 4-2 last season.
You can find out if you're looking at your fixtures, because on the top
I
right...
I can, but I'm going off of screenshots, because if I open my FM game, it comes on this monitor that I've got here with you, and I'm too lazy to fucking edit all the fucking things. Anyway, you know what I mean.
You need to start recording the other monitor.
Yeah, exactly. We returned to league action at home to Strasbourg. And Meggy, if you're listening, fuck yourself. We beat you 4-1, brother.
Did he score? Oh no, you said he's left the team, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's left. I think he moved on to... I think he went to Italy or Spain somewhere. We then returned to Champions League action at home to Benfica, where we won 2-0. And then we wrapped up January with a 3-2 away win against Lorient, who were in relegation actually. But I've got to give credit to Lorient because they drew 1-1 against PSG a week later.
All right.
And that plays a big part in where we're going with what we're going to get onto very shortly. Just to brush over the transfer window side of things, we brought in 3 new players. How many players did I bring in? I think it was 2 or 3. 3 new players we brought in. So, there's a player that I've been boasting to you about, Gondor, for a long time.
Yeah, I looked at him in the summer.
You did look at him in the summer. You can't have him now, unfortunately. I got him on a loan deal to the end of the season with a future fee of £6 million. Argentina winger from Boca Juniors, Luca Andrade.
Now you just got to hope that they give you the funds.
I've got the funds. Don't worry.
Spoiler alert.
I've got the funds. I'm just saying I've got the funds. I haven't said how much. I'm just saying I've got the funds. It's all good. Followed up with that, I sold one of my centre backs who, for the first 2 seasons, was a predominant figure in my side, and I strengthened, and he found himself on the outskirts of the team. He was a fringe player. Southampton were interested, and he jumped ship to Southampton for a fee that could potentially total up to £13.5 million. Initially £11.75 million, and so that cushioned my transfer budget from how shit it was given to me in the summer initially. Prior note, the board actually gave me extra funds going into January. They gave me an extra 10 million, so at this point I'm on about just over 20 million. So I thought it'd be rude not to go and buy someone, if not buy 2. And so I bought a defensive midfielder in the name of Giacomo Faticanti from Salento.
We met him on Saturday, didn't we?
Probably. Yeah. Oh, fuck. I just realised. Looks like him as well. No, I'm joking. This guy's got black hair, not grey. He came in for a small fee of £2.5 million. And he's coming in to replace Noah Lamardi, because I feel Lamardi hasn't quite reached the heights of his potential. So I thought, why not bring in some competition? And he's come in and he's done very well, and I'll get onto that very shortly. I still had some more money to spend, and I was thinking more about depth at this point, because I was looking at my bench. I'm thinking, right, this area not quite strong when it comes to making replacements in game. subs in game, stuff like that. And I thought one of those areas was right back. And so I browsed around. I, did some soul searching far and wide. And this name came up, who was transfer listed and available for 6.5 million. And I know that this boy turns into one of the best right backs in the game. And he was available for a fee that I could afford. He can come on a sensible wage, and he will just absolutely just he will skyrocket. His development will skyrocket because he will start every game. He'll get booked for sure, and if he gets booked in the first half, he's getting brought off at half time. But Northern Irish international Conor Bradley completed his move to Clermont from Liverpool for 6.5 million. However, it's a fee that could potentially rise to 8.25 million. Not complaining in the slightest.
No, that's good.
When he came in, and I clicked on his profile, he was valued at £30 million. I'm telling you, man, good player. He's a good player. And when you got 17 acceleration and 16 pace with 15 crossing, that's what I like in a wing back. That's what I really like. And then this one, I don't know if you could really count it as this season's transfer. I don't know if it carries over, because this was someone that I signed in March.
Okay.
But comes in June. And you always get the list of the top 50 wonder kids, right?
Yeah.
And sat in 5th place was this Danish midfielder from Midtjylland. And he was available for between 9 and 11 million. No offence, Americans, that's exactly what he was worth. And he is 4.5 star current ability with 5-star potential at the age of 19. And he came in for 10 million. I thought it was a fucking no-brainer. So Mohammed Cham, it was nice to know you, mate. But you've just been replaced by Michael Klerkvist. Fucking nailed that pronunciation as well. So proud of myself. So that was the transfer dealings. We're going to get on to the results now. I'm going to try and blitz through them a little bit. So, February. We started off with the 11th round away against Nimes. Nimes? Nimes? I think
I'd say Nimes.
Nimes. We played them away. We won 5-0. We went back to the league campaign. We had Lon. We beat them 2-1 at home. Then we had our Champions League knockout playoff round. We got drawn against Arsenal. First leg, we were at home, and we beat them 2-0. We then went away to Bordeaux in the league, beat them 3-1. We then had the return leg. Not quite the return leg, we had to travel to the Emirates. Arsenal battered us 3-0, knocked us out in the Champions League. That was an abrupt end to our Champions League campaign. I really thought we were going to go the distance. I was kicking myself as well. I think tactically I could have done better, but I really thought with the comfort of the scoreline, I think we could have gone at them. We could have scored at least 1 or 2, but that was not meant to be, and we crashed out by 3-0, 3-2 on aggregate, and that was the end of that. We returned to the league. We had Rennes at home. We won 3-2. We were 3-0 up, and we conceded 2 late goals, which obviously jeopardised the goal difference there. The French Cup quarter-final, we had a familiar foe in the form of Bordeaux. Not spitting bars there. You can call me an M&M all you want. But we beat them 3-1, which carried us into the semi-finals. We then had Lille away from home, where we drew 2-2. So again, we dropped points, but we were still leading the way. Then going into March, we only had 3 games in March, and I must say, unbelievable month. We started off at home to Marseille. We won 3-1. We went away to Monaco. We were 3-1 down at half-time. I changed some things up at half-time. changed a few player roles, a little bit of the shape. I didn't go 4-2-3-1. I promise, I did not. I actually went back to the five at the back for the second half, and it brought us back to 3-3. And so we got a point away at Monaco. Then we had Nantes at home, and we always brag about how badly they get beaten. We beat them 5-1. Again, building on that goal difference, because PSG were so far ahead of us in the goal difference, and the points gap was so small. We then went into April. I could say now we went undefeated in April. We went away to Toulouse, beaten 3-1. We had Troyes in the semi-final, the team that knocked us out in the semi-final last season by 2-1. We beat them 4-2. We're in the final on the French Cup. We went away to Nice. We beat them 2-0. We had Lyon at home. Just narrowly beat them 2-1. We then went away to Reims. It was a goalless draw. We were the better side, but we just couldn't find the back of the net. I think we had about 3 shots on target from 14, and I wasn't quite happy about it because, you know, if you have 14 shots on goal, like, you expect to score 1, and we didn't. We then go into May, the final month of the campaign, kicking off with Guingamp at home. I expected us to really just steamroll them, absolutely steamroll them. But now looking at that fixture, it just flicked a switch in my head and just reminded me that in the Nice game, Spike Brits got ruled out for 4 weeks. I had to play a 1.5-star goalkeeper in goal up until the French Cup final. And so I had to change a few things there. Go a little bit more defensive, give a bit more stability at the back, so our keeper didn't get exposed. We beat Guingamp 3-2. We went 3-0 up at half time. Again, conceded 2 late goals. But now, here came the ultimate test. PSG away. PSG took the lead from the spot after 20 minutes. Kylian Mbappe, of all men, you know. 3 minutes later, Nuno Mendes makes a loose back header towards the goalkeeper, to which Junior Krupi gets on the end to, rounds the keeper, and puts us level on terms. From the 25th minute, I was playing defensive football, and we saw the game out. We drew 1-1. We were 2 points clear at the top, going into the final game of the season. PSG beat Rennes 5-2 on the final game of the season with a plus 65 goal difference. We beat Nets 2-0 away from home, which left us on plus 50 goal difference. And Safana Munianta, I butchered his name, who cares? He scored the second goal, and he won us the French Ligue 1 title. League champions with Clermont. I'm sorry to shit on your parade, Gondor. I'm really sorry. But PSG dropped points at the least expected points in the season. It was ridiculous, the points they dropped. And we just took advantage of it. We won the league by 2 points. 83 points plus 50 goal difference. Talking about, well, the French Cup final was no surprise. We lost in extra time to PSG. Zaire Emery scored in extra time for them. But we ended the season 83 points plus goal difference of 50. I think my time is done at Clermont. I really think it is. Because we know the end goal is the Champions League. And so even though we've all won a piece of silverware, the end goal is always the Champions League. Do I feel I can win it with Clermont? I don't know. They gave me 12 million to spend in the summer. They take
the French league just does not give enough money, does it?
They don't. They really don't. Unless you're PSG, it gives you fuck all to spend. The bad thing is as well with that 12 million, they take the 10 of it for the fucking Quellfish deal. You know what I mean? So I've got as much as you to spend, to be honest.
In answer to your earlier question, by the way, that counts as last season's signing because he came in on loan and he's not leaving your club.
Who's that?
The one that you said, I don't know if this counts as last season's transfer or this season's transfer.
Oh no, that was a permanent one. That was one that you made him that you could sign in the off transfer window, but then it comes up saying okay, he'll come in first week of June. So look, I'm happy to say
I did that.
Signing, yeah.
I did that with a player and counted him as the first signing.
I'll count him as the first signing as well. The one I won't count is Luca Andrade because he came in initially on loan. We had the same stipulation with Mayhem when he brought in Jordan James.
No. That's what the one I was saying counts as last season.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Just so you know, I've been hitting enter a lot on FM while you were talking.
Sorry for the very long monologue, listeners, but it was a lot to share. We had a lot to catch up on.
Here's the TLDR for Fen and me. I had the fucking season of a lifetime, and Fen just shit on me.
I didn't mean to. If it makes you feel better, you got a better goal difference than I did.
That does make you feel better. So I've been hitting enter a lot on FM purely because I applied for the Blue Neri job. I applied for the Inter job.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. I'd do the same thing.
So I was like, well, I'm gonna keep hitting enter until I get this. And it took 2 weeks for them to say no.
They said no.
And it wasn't even because they hired a new manager. They said, oh, we're going to keep looking. But then I just kept hitting enter, seeing what was coming up. I'm now on the 1st of July.
You're on the 1st of July. Mate, I'm on the 1st of June.
No, but here's the point. I'm a month into the transfer window.
You are, and I feel like, in a sense, that's like a month lost for you.
No, because there's no players that I can sign.
Yeah, there's still players you can sign. You just can't spend money on them.
I've pissed off one player already in this transfer window.
What, because they want to leave, or they...
No, they wanted a pay rise. They
couldn't afford it.
They felt like they were not getting paid enough. They're on 41,000 a week. There's only one player I'm paying more than them.
Is it Bragantia?
No, it's Banda.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
And he was like,
He's on 41 grand a week.
Yeah.
Fucking hell! All right.
He's on the same wage as Bragantia.
Yeah.
And the only player getting paid more than him is Coney De Winter, my centre back,
yeah.
who last season had a pass completion average or rate of 96%.
Wow.
So, he's a proper ball playing midfielder.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's doing his job. He's on 44k. And I said no to Banda. I said, we can't afford it.
Yeah, I usually say that as well, to be honest.
Yeah. And
even if I feel they deserve it, I will always say no.
If they deserve it, I'll give it to them. But they were like, oh no, okay, whatever. And then he went to the press.
That's when you need to fuck off.
So
honestly, that is one of my pet hates about this game. Is that the press.
I went into it because he's a big player for me. He scored the winning goal against PSG. So I went in and I went, all right, let's negotiate you a contract. 4-year deal.
How much did he want?
71,000.
Bin him.
No, I just walked away from the deal.
Bin him. Get him out.
But
He's not that good.
I did forget to mention something. It's a side note here as well. Leeds have just signed Luca Andrade on a
have they really
£7.5 million transfer fee.
How much?
7.5 million.
Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah.
So he was on my shortlist. I can actually remove him from the shortlist now because I can't.
You know what's
him.
Great though? What's so messed up about Football Manager, right? Is that Luca Andrade? Because I've got him in 2 saves, right? I've got him with Standard Liège, and he's like he's in around about my height. In centimeters, he's about 170 odd, 175, whatever. In the Clermont save, he's 192 centimeters.
Because it's still
big fucking jump. Like,
it's because it's still a teen in real life, so it's how much you can grow.
You could grow in.
So he's basically gone from your height
to
my height.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, he's 192. He hasn't performed as well as he has for me at Standard Liège, but I still think like having that height allows him to be more of an aerial threat when he gets the ball into.
He's also got to settle in.
scenarios.
He's also got to settle in.
Yeah, exactly. I still think he'll be a big hit at Clermont, but that's if I stay at Clermont. But you know what? Like, I'm keeping my options open. I think if there's any, like you said, I mean, you had Inter Milan available. I would have applied for that in a heartbeat. I think if I'd personally like to go to the Bundesliga because I haven't managed there for many years on Football Manager. I think I did one save on. I can't remember what year it was. I was still living in the UK and I managed Wolfsburg when they still had Kevin De Bruyne. It was that far back, and so no, I'd like to test myself in the Bundesliga again. But I've done Serie A, I've done La Liga, I've done the French League, evidently. Premier League is just, I mean, I think it'd be too easy for any of us to do. And so, yeah, no, like I said, but regardless, keep my options open. If like a Barcelona pops up, I'll apply for them. If a Dortmund or a Bayern pop up, I'll apply for them. Any top team in Italy, whether it's Milan, Inter, Juve, even Parthenope, otherwise known as Napoli, I'll go for them. And so, yeah, no, I think this fifth season's going to be a groundbreaking season for all of us. Obviously, we're still waiting to hear what happens with Mayhem, but will he win the league title? Do you reckon? Do you reckon he will come close? He's sat second at the moment in the league.
I don't think he will.
You know what I love though is that we've all managed to get our clubs up to like that position. That's what I love about it most.
Yeah. But no, here's a kicker for you then. Forgot to mention this. I signed a new manager, a new coach.
New contract, yeah.
A new coach.
Go on.
Let's see if he can bring it to Brest. Craig Bellamy is a first-team coach for Brest.
Well, he's leading Wales out tonight against Belgium, which started about 15 minutes ago. Over that. Don't tell me the score because I don't want to know yet.
I've not got it open.
Don't tell me the score yet, but I am gonna go watch the Wales Belgium game very, very shortly. Was there anything more that you wanted to address at all regarding Football Manager or just anything football regarding?
I've just got a big thing to think about now because I've just had an offer for one of my players from last season and I now have to think about it. So
we're going to leave it on that.
We're going to leave it on that.
A little bit of a cliffhanger there. All right, we're going to leave it on that then. Well, look, Gondor, thanks for sticking it out for tonight. It was a shame that Mayhem couldn't stay with us, but mate, you're appreciated as always. Love having you here, and hope that we can keep you on a permanent basis.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. You
enjoying it? No, it's good. No, that's what matters, man. Like that's what we're here for. We're here to enjoy it. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Brew podcast, we are available on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and Audible. If you're watching us over on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that bell for notifications. Until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and the star.